have Adla here, who's in transition from South Africa. She'll share a little of her experience with us. Adla, the floor is yours.
Thank you guys so much. Yeah, I apologize. I will keep my remarks fairly brief because I'm gonna have to go hop on a plane shortly. So I was really proud to be a part of the delegation from Doctors Against Genocide that attended this week-long mission to South Africa. Essentially, we were there to represent a medical voice, which became very apparent to us is sorely lacking in that scholarship space. And so beyond lending our medical framework and our voice with respect to a panel that we conducted, as well as a workshop where we were focusing on, from a medical perspective, that
Seems like I'm cut out for a bit.
Should we give her a minute and then if she doesn't pop back on?
Yeah, I think so. Maybe the airport Wi-Fi went out. But to
Well, should we have
I guess we'll give her another minute and then we'll go right to Mundir. Mundir, you'll present. We'll give her like كمان دقيقتين وبعديها.
but But I guess maybe I'll give some quick context while we're waiting. So this conference in South Africa, it was hosted by the International Association of Genocide Scholars, the IAGS.
Wait, but
A lot
she
of,
said she's in. Is she
oh,
not
she's
like
in?
a lot? Yeah, sorry. I
No
just texted
worries.
her that I'm in.
Oh, she joined on I have to promote. Something went off.
hello.
Yeah,
Oh,
Hi
there we
guys.
go.
Okay, she's
Okay.
in.
awesome.
All
Adle,
right,
if
there you are.
you got the panelist invite and can turn on your camera, right?
Can you see me, guys?
Yeah, we
Yeah,
can see you
awesome.
Yeah,
and
I
hear you.
apologize. Okay, I'm sorry. I got a phone call and I tried to ignore it and it ended up dropping the meeting. I'm sorry. Okay, so essentially we were there as part of panelists and we did a workshop with respect to, from a medical framework, discussing how, from a medical side of things, we considered a betrayal of our oath to not speak out against genocide, as well as a workshop where we discussed um, um, that we thought that genocide is a public health catastrophe. So, we were a very popular group while we were there, not just because of the content that we were providing, but because it was a fresh perspective. I did think we knew going in that our presence was going to be, frankly, somewhat disruptive. And it wasn't necessarily from what we were discussing, but it was merely the fact that we were coming at things from the perspective of asking for action rather than simply analysis. And so just our presence being there in some ways, in the same way that we have held up a mirror to ourselves as a medical community, this was also holding up a mirror to these academics who are doing very good work. But, to quote Dr. Jabour, instead of us trying to perform, an autopsy on genocides that have, come to completion, we should be looking at things from a prevention perspective. And so, this was what we felt like our duty was. And, and to be honest with you, it wasn't in some ways well received by a certain part of the contingency was there. But the longer that we were there, the more that they spoke to us. And frankly, the more that it was received well because they understood what our intentions were. And frankly, there was a large contingency of people who were so grateful for us to be there. Activist component to it in years past, and that has sort of died away. And and so what was sort of striking to us is we were one of just like a handful of Gaza panels, but beyond that, there were very few panels. Sorry, I'm losing my internet. Um, um, Sorry, can you guys hear me? Yeah, okay. So beyond that, we were very few panels with any sort of connection to Gaza. It's sort of like people were, very like kid gloves in terms of how things were being handled. But beyond that, there were very few panels on the other active genocides, with respect to like Congo and Sudan. And there was a panel on the Rohingya, but it was very much the sense of things that were complete and less things that are active. And so some of our colleagues particularly from the global South, were so grateful to us for the perspective that we brought. Beyond that, um, you know, there were some fantastic keynotes, particularly from our South African colleagues while we were there, and really, really appropriately recentering, why are we here? Why are we at this conference? We're there, not to talk about things and simply to analyze, for scholarship's sake, but to actually, why are we here? Do we just want to create the scholarship, or do we want it to be impactful and to be able to be used for preventative purposes? And so I think that was, once we were, I think, understood, people were ecstatic that we were there. And there was a large contingency of people who said, that they really recognized once we were there that this was a hugely helpful that we were there, and that they didn't quite realize how much of a missing link we were about taking their work and putting it into action. And that they thought that from a medical voice should be representing at least 10%, if not more, of the people that are there. And so I think all in all, it was very productive. And we look forward to working with them, further. While we were there, we also had the honor of attending two of Special Rapporteur Albanese's speeches. We just happened to be there, which is very serendipitous that we happened to be there. And she was kind enough to provide us with tickets, which were sold out. They initially, for her second speech for the Nelson Mandela Foundation, they had apparently gone on sale, and within 37 minutes had sold out. So they had to move it from a university campus to a large convention center, and that also sold out. But due to her respect for Yiping and some of the work that we've done, she was able to provide us with access. And we were there along with 3,500 other people in attendance, and we're really honored to have been a part of that. And DAG was recognized. Yiping and I were interviewed by several news organizations while we were there. Again, just lending weight to the fact that the medical voice is sorely needed in these spaces. And I think people are very appreciative that we are lending our voices in that way. So I'm at my gate, but I can answer some questions if need be. So.
That's amazing.
Thank you, Adna.
Yeah. That's exciting that that they're recognizing. I know there was a little bit of concern going in, like what the reaction would be. But I think that's pretty incredible that they saw, what we've been saying from the beginning, that doctors and healthcare workers need to be calling this out and early. Like this is a disease that we need to be addressing. So I think that's amazing. I don't know if anybody has any questions. I know that Nadal said that he might try to make it sometime later in the talk, and Yiping and Mesa. So we'll get to hear from them also. But If nobody has questions, thank you, Adla. We really appreciate it. We wish you safe travels home, and we hope to see you soon, inshallah.
Okay, thanks everybody. Thanks for the patience too with the whole dropping off thing. So appreciate it. Okay, bye.
No worries. Dania, do you want to introduce Mandar? Let me see if he's still
Yes, I
there.
think we actually lost Mundir. So hopefully he's able. Oh, there he goes. Okay. So you all are very familiar with Mundir. He's a weekly part of the DAG family and weekly contributor with updates. He's a healthcare volunteer based in northern Gaza right now. He helps us lead some of our initiatives with DAG relief that include food distribution and the medical point site. So Mundir, the floor is yours. مش سامعينك.
هيك.
Hey.
Good evening, everyone from Gaza, from south of Gaza. Even I am originally from from north of Gaza. My village name Beit Lahia, and I'm proud that I'm from there. But in the same time, I'm unable to reach there as my village is still in the red zone. Today is 26th of October 2025, and today is the first day of winter time. And that is challenging season for most of families in Gaza, as the cold is very difficult here. So we really need urgent appeal to for our children to be in warm places, but unfortunately many of our children are still without tents, without warm place. Even the winter is coming and coming very fast. So as you can see me, I'm wearing extra clothes today. And yeah, I'm recording this, or I'm speaking to you from a cafe. And this cafe, it was neighbor to Al-Baqa cafe when we were in Gaza city. And that time they bombed Al-Baqa cafe, and many people has been killed that time. Today, the owner of the cafe, he opened a new branch here. It is like temporary branch, and we just got internet connection for the last 3 days. So to share our stories and what is going on in Gaza. So that is a good opportunity for us to share how is the situation here after the ceasefire. Even it is, I can say it is unstable, a ceasefire, as yesterday they bombed Al Sarat area just near to where I'm staying, 10 minutes from here. 6 people killed and many people injured, and we can feel we are unsafe. As in the previous day, in the first day of a ceasefire, I felt that I'm now in a safe, secure. I can go to cafes, I can go public area, public market, but unfortunately, we can't guarantee that Israel might bomb this place one more time, or might bomb this area one more time. So that is the situation in general in terms of fighting and bombs. Even they break the ceasefire to kill civilian. They mentioned that it is one of the targets, but they never respect the rules of getting a ceasefire or the contract of the stopping the fight. I want to talk about the food. We're very happy for the last week, but to get some chicken and to get some frozen meat or something like that, they allow around hundreds of trucks coming to Gaza. So that time, many families start to get food, but many families as well, they can't afford to buy that food, as we are for almost 2 years we are under attack. So that is the situation in terms of food. But unfortunately, for the last 3 days, Israel started to reduce the number of trucks to minimum, which is 60 trucks per day, and that's not enough for the 2 million people who's living in Gaza. So that make the prices become increasing more and more, and we start to ask to respect the ceasefire contract, as they should allow 600 trucks to enter Gaza daily. But unfortunately, these days, starting from last 3 days until now, they just allow 60, from 600 to 60 trucks coming to Gaza, which is not enough for the families in Gaza. So I want to say that they have the excuse that there is a hostages still in Gaza, the 13 dead hostages, and they are working on minute and time to release and to find the bones for these hostages and release them back. And at that time, they said, and we never trust Israeli people or Israeli situation, as they give us hope, but after that there is no guarantee, and they never implement what they sign. They start killing us in Gaza. They start making problems. As a Palestinian, my hometown is Beit Lahia. I'm not allowed to go there, as it is still in the red area, and even it is nothing left in my village, only rebels. But in the same time, I have to go there or to find a place before starting the winter time. As you know, in this area where I'm staying in Deir al-Balah, it is very crowded, and in the same time, once the rain come, so there is no good infrastructure in this area. That's make more challenges in terms of pollution, in terms of disease. So we asking for urgent appeal to solve the issue of getting the ceasefire to be implemented in the correct way. Ask Israel to allow the 600 trucks to come and stop fighting, and in the same time allow us to go to our hometown, even only rebels that still left in Gaza, in our village. That is my conclusion about what is going on in Gaza and how is the people feeling. We feel insecure. We feel there is no guarantee for Israel that they might start one more time. They fight here and they will kill more people here. In terms of medical situation, as you know, all of the hospitals are out of service, and they start to see what happened or what is going on, or who is still alive, or who dead, or who need urgent help. And as you know, they just allow 47 people to leave Gaza through Karam Abu Salim border, which is on the tool or in the queue. There are 20,000 injured or patient are waiting for their term to leave Gaza for medical improvement or medical complete the medical situation. So that is in general what is going on, and hopefully the situation will be better. But as you know, I feel insecure, unsafe. Even while I'm talking to you, they might bomb this cafe or any place here, any public space, any public place in Gaza. So that is the situation. If anyone who has any question, I'm here to reply you.
Thank you, Mundhir. Can you clarify? I think you were saying it, but just so that people understand, even though there is some food coming in, it sounds like you're saying that people have to buy it. It's not like they're bringing aid in and the aid is free. It's not like the NGOs that are giving the food, they have to pay for it, and the prices are expensive, correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah. In terms of food, for starting the first day of a ceasefire, they start to allow trucks coming to Gaza. So we have hope that the prices will be decreasing. So suddenly, once they're not sending the hostages, so they're reducing the number of trucks to minimum, which is only 60 trucks per day, which is not enough for 2 million people. We have the prices become more expensive day by day, and hopefully that today or yesterday they allow for uh, Egyptian group, Egyptian team enter Gaza to figure out where's these hostages' bodies, because even no one know about where they are at the moment, because we are almost 2 years and more in during genocide or during fighting here in Gaza. So it is very difficult for us or for the people who's in charge to find them easily. But Israel take it as excuse that they not giving us our hostages or our hostages' bodies back, so we have to bomb them again, bomb them back, or we have to reduce the number of tracks. We have to cut, not allow anyone to leave Gaza. Even they, we have a hope that time in the first day of the ceasefire to open Rafah border, and that was in the first stage. So when they start to put excuse that the hostages bodies not retain back all of them, so we not gonna open Rafah border until we retain all of the hostages. The situation is extremely difficult in terms of moving uh, from a place to another place, and or leaving Gaza. So that is, we really don't know. Anything might happen. We are looking, but we are feeling unsafe. We are feeling insecure. Even we have some food here, but there is a possibility that they will cut the whole of the tracks. They will not allow any tracks to come into Gaza. That is the traders speak. Sometimes these traders are taking advantage on the 2 million people who's in Gaza. So the prices become increasing rapidly. Is like retained back as during the hunger time. So the prices of the basic food become increasing, especially the wheat flour and sugar, and even salt today. They increase very fast. The prices like uh, increasing day by day, and because of this news, so we feel unsafe, unsecure, and as I told you, there is only few international organization, humanitarian one, working here. Not all of the international organizations started working, not all of them, only few. So that make the situation more difficult, more complicated. Our needs, it's a lot. Our requirements a lot, but in the same time, they supply us with to keep us alive. Even some of us, we start to die because of hunger. So hopefully the hunger stage will not return back to Gaza. Hopefully they solve this issue. Hopefully they will find the hostages, their hostages. They're talking about their hostages, but they never talk about the 10,000 hostages or the 10,000 missing bodies under the rubble. Until now, for the almost 2 years, no one in the media talking about them. So that is my request. If you want to release the 13 hostages bodies that is still in Gaza, after you finish finding them, try to find our missing bodies that who still in the rubble, our people, our Palestinian people. No one talk about them. So that is a good opportunity for me to talk about. There are 10,000 people are missing in Gaza and no one talk about them. So just be a human, ask the international law or anyone who is responsible. So as I told you yesterday, they allowed the Egyptian team to come and figure out where's the 13 hostages are here. I'm not talking about politics. I'm not talking about as a human. Complete your work and find and help us to figure out where is the 10,000 bodies, the Palestinian people bodies still under rubble. That is my request. That is my conclusion. And as you know, it is really difficult to find them, as the rubble need a lot of equipment, and this equipment need a lot of fuel, and the fuel is very expensive. And Israel not allowing any fuel to come to Gaza. Even now, they keep promising that they will allow the food and the fuel, the gas, allowed to come to Gaza. But the reality, they will allow only 1 or 10 trucks coming, take some picture, show the international media that we are allowing more gas and more fuel coming to Gaza. After that, they will close the border, and that's not enough. And you have to know that in Gaza, there are 2 million people. 60 trucks is not enough to these 2 million people who is living in Gaza.
Thank you, Mundar. I hope that everyone hearing from Mundar, you are seeing that, there is still so much to do, and people in Gaza aren't feeling safe, that there has been so much on the Israeli action in terms of what they're doing, saying one thing and doing something else. And I hope it's clear too that, like, there is this insistence on getting the dead Israeli hostages to their family, which is understandable, but you're not giving them the equipment to dig through the rubble. If you've seen the pictures of Gaza, right? And on top of that, what about the thousands upon thousands upon thousands of Palestinian, mothers, brothers, fathers, sisters, children? They're all, people are trying to find their family under the rubble, and so Israel not allowing in that equipment, I think you have to question, like, what is the intention, right? And what is the intention if you are saying that the Palestinians aren't maintaining the ceasefire because they're not giving these bodies? I'm sure they knew this ahead of time, like, they're digging with their hands, right? Like, what are they supposed to be doing? So thank you, Munder. We really appreciate it. We always appreciate you.
Share my message.
Jazakallah khair.
Share my
Jazakallah
message
khair.
to everyone that after they found, hopefully, as a Palestinian, that is my request and my hope, that, as you know, as I told many times, every second count in Gaza. Hopefully, the Egyptian team will find the 13 hostages that still have it in Gaza. After that, we request the Egyptian team to complete his work, to help us to find our bodies, our families, and open for us the road, to go to our village. For example, I'm still here, even the winter started, and in the same time, hopefully they will that is the hope for the 2 million people who is living in Gaza, because we don't want to have more genocide, more fighting anymore. We need to stop this fighting, and we don't want Israel to take advantage that, or to take an excuse that we still have 13 hostages bodies in Gaza. So I am telling to the world that in Gaza there are thousands of bodies that's still under the rubble. We cannot manage to get them and put them in a very good way, to put them in a cemetery or in a grave or something like that. They are still under the rubble for almost 2 years. Hopefully they can help us to complete their work, in the same time to go for the second stage of the ceasefire. As Trump said, we will go for the second stage once we find the 13 hostages bodies. That is my appeal. That is my request. Pray for us. In the same time, anyone who has a word or responsibility, just be a human. Ask Egyptian, or ask anybody in this world, help us to figure out and help us to rebuild Gaza. And our hope at the moment, allow the tracks to come to Gaza, the 600 tracks, because our children needs to get a healthy food. 2 years for no food, and now the time to open Rafah border and open the borders, allow the tracks to come to Gaza, and that time our children will get a healthy food.
It's
Jazakallah
also
khair.
important, Munda, thank you so much, but it's also really important to note that during negotiations, Palestinian negotiators let the negotiators they were in discussion with that the hostages that were killed with American weaponry by the IDF, they were told that they would need the time to look for them. This was all part of the discussion. This was all part of negotiations. We can't let them use this as a pretext to resume the genocide. I know things got fuzzy because there was a long process of negotiations, and with Trump's farce of a peace plan, the Palestinian negotiators made it very clear that these hostages they would need the machinery, the heavy machinery that's not in Gaza as we speak, to look for them. So we, as the Western world, cannot let this be the reason they resume their genocide. So Mundir, what is your advice to us and how to move forward? Because a lot of people think that Gaza got its ceasefire and we can all kind of just move on with our lives.
Yeah, that was my request, is after the Egyptian team, and hopefully many teams join the Egyptian team, to release the hostages, the body one. I mean, they already released the life one. Now the issue is with the 13 one only, and Israel start to make an excuse that everything will be done after you releasing us the hostages. So they start to make excuse from 600 tracks that should be allowed to come to Gaza, only 60 tracks, and which is that's not, I really don't know how to express that, but in terms of me, I'm fed up. Actually, I feel what kind of negotiation or what kind of work they did during the negotiation. But we know, and we have a hope. We before hope, we can't trust Israeli work or Israeli promise, but we still have a hope that the world not be silent. The world must take action and ask the people who's in charge that please help us to complete the work and complete the ceasefire, get the Israeli hostages very fast. After that, try to help the Palestinian to help them to rebuild the roads, or at least to find who's left in Gaza, who's still alive, because many people, they still think that our family members are missing. For me, in terms of me, one of my family member, he's still missing, but we don't know if he's still alive, or he's still under a rubble, or he's still in the Israeli prisons. So we really don't know. There is no clear situation in Gaza. And as I told you, that we can't trust Israeli promises, even they promise and they have like the word, for example, Egypt, Qatar, Turkey, they said we can guarantee that they will not break the ceasefire. But unfortunately, for yesterday, they break and they kill 6. We can't consider them as a civilian or military. We really don't know. But as long as they are human, so they don't have any they don't have any permission to kill these our civilian, because they might bomb the cafe that where I'm staying at the moment. We really don't know who is staying in the cafe. So I feel insecure even to bring my children joining me to come to the cafe, as there is no safe place in Gaza, even we get a ceasefire. So that is my request. Ask who is in charge to complete the work, to release the hostages bodies, Israeli one. After that, start to search for Palestinian bodies, and we really need help in terms of food. We really need international humanitarian organization to work again in Gaza to distribute for free food and return to our life before, as what we have before during 7th of October. And we really need to open Rafah border. That is our request, because many families need to be leaving Gaza for medical, to complete medical, or for complete further study, or for visit their friends, or some of the people, also the people who stuck in Egypt, they want to return back to Gaza and build a peaceful place in Gaza. That is my request. That is our need.
Thank you so much, Monzer. If you guys notice too in the chat, we have a link for DAG's relief. Monzer has been very helpful getting like fruits and vegetables and food to people. And as he mentioned, you know, people don't imagine like not working for 2 years and not having any money to purchase food. And so even though the prices are high, you know, we're trying our best, and he's working very hard. So please, please be generous in your donations. So thank you so much, Munder. I see that Mesa and I think Yiping was on here. If you guys want to tell us a little bit about your experience in South Africa, we would love to hear.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Munder, for this testimony, and thank you for.
You are welcome. Thank you so much.
Mesa, you're kind of chopping.
No, what seems to be a peace deal is people in Gaza. Right? Somebody say something. Yeah, no worries. So again, thank you so much, Mother, for that testimony. So as Iman mentioned, Dr. Yiping G, myself, Karama Nidar are actually flying home today. Dr. Adla Sukkar and Dr. James Smith and another colleague of ours. We joined the Doctors Against Genocide delegation to the International Association for Genocide Scholars 2025 conference. Is this the theme for this conference, ironically, was never again. And as a delegation, we had a presentation that we put together, as well as we held a workshop. What was really interesting about this event is, you know, obviously it was an event for genocide scholars. And I would say that if it were not for the Doctors Against Genocide delegation, and then maybe like one other small presentation, there would have been absolutely no mention of scholarship in the world, specifically when you're talking about a genocide scholarship event or genocide scholars event. We did our presentation, which was definitely centered on Gaza, on the active genocides also in Sudan and Congo. And our emphasis is always on prevention, is always on advocating for the people who are still going through genocide. What was striking to us was that the speakers, a lot of the speakers focused on learning from the past. There was a whole speech on the Holocaust memorial and learning from Holocaust. And of course, Holocaust was a huge, significant event and a painful event that happened to the Jewish people. So not to obviously not to take away from that, but when there is no mention of that, no mention of prevention, you know, you can see that there is a big gap in academia when it comes to fighting genocide and confronting genocide. So I want to recognize and honor Nidal, who actually spoke truth to power and pointed out to the organizers, to the speakers, the fact that while we sit around and discuss past events that happened, decades ago. There are active genocides happening. There's the genocide in Congo and Sudan. There were other participants that were saying, what about the genocide in Nigeria? What about other Armenian genocide? So there was obviously a lack of balance when it comes to the understanding of how to resist and how to prevent genocide. I also want to share South Africa. We were lucky to meet with South Africa Healthcare Workers for Palestine. There was a protest that was held in front of the Holocaust and Genocide Center where the event was hosted. And I do want to share the speech that Dr. Yiping-Ji delivered, if that's okay. It's a short speech, but I will share it with you so you can just get a sense of what the conversation was centering around. So bear with me one second as I pull that up.
Free, free Palestine!
Free, free Palestine!
Free, free Palestine!
Free, free Palestine!
We were just at a panel about healthcare and the genocide in Gaza. As Dr. Jabour said, there were no Palestinian scholars on that panel. Shame.
Shame!
Shame!
Shame on you!
My name is Peng. I'm a family doctor based in Canada. I've studied the impacts of settler colonialism on Indigenous peoples, First Nations, Inuit, Métis, on the settler colonial state, Canada. I've also studied settler colonialism in the context of Palestine affecting Palestinians. What I shared as a question on that panel was the permission to narrate, the Palestinian permission to narrate. I had the privilege of working as a family doctor, as a volunteer medic in Gaza last year for a very brief moment in time. While my own colleagues who are Palestinian, taking care of their people and their communities, trying to feed their children and families, continue to be bombed and killed. Shame! I have been given this platform because I am non-Palestinian. There's permission to narrate for me because of my proximity to whiteness. And we have to acknowledge these forms of privilege and opportunity.
Yes.
But what this panel failed to do is acknowledge the role of anti-Palestinian racism and how certain people's voices get loud. Certain storytellers who have the permission to narrate about the genocide in Gaza as it continues without Palestinians involved. That is shameful.
Shame!
And for me to bring this up, the president of this association, the International Association of Genocide Scholars, threatened to kick me out.
Police! Police!
It is so hypocritical for an association that studies genocide cannot confront its own necessary accountability to Palestinian doctors and speakers who come to this conference as presenters to confront them with their necessary truth and accountability, to recognize their privilege and opportunities to narrate on the Palestinian genocide in Gaza as it continues. They sit behind these walls, behind their desks, writing their papers, building their careers off of the backs of Palestinians who are being massacred as we speak. And when confronted with this reality, this painful reality that all of us who are not in Palestine must contend with, they threaten to throw us out because they are uncomfortable with facing their own privilege. Shame!
Shame!
Remember what the story is. The story is the genocide in Gaza. It is not the feelings of these scholars behind these walls. Who have the permission to narrate genocides all over the world, where the disproportionate impact of these genocides, previously, historically, and ongoing, affect the global south. This is the privilege that we must all contend with. When this conference started, they highlighted how it's not safe to walk on these streets outside of these walls of this museum.
No.
To take care of where you hold your phones, where you hold your purses and wallets, without acknowledging what happened on this land. Why is there inequity on this land? I had the privilege of visiting the Apartheid Museum earlier today. And all I could think about were the parallels with what happened to my brothers and sisters in the struggle, Indigenous, First Nations, Inuit, Métis, who were put on reservations by the settler colonial state of Canada, by British and French imperial forces, to colonize, dehumanize, to commit genocide in Canada. As I walked through that museum, I thought about my time walking through the checkpoints throughout occupied Palestine. Shame.
Shame!
Know who your common enemy is. They are not our enemy. We are not their enemy. The enemy is the oppressor, is the colonizer. The sooner these scholars wake up to that reality, the sooner they contend with their own privilege behind those walls, at their desks and their computers, as they narrate a genocide happening in Gaza at the hands of Israel, affecting Palestinians without Palestinians involved. The sooner they recognize their privilege, the closer we are to collective liberation for all peoples. Shame on them. Bring Palestine.
Thank you, Yiping. Yiping is here with us today, actually. If you can share a few words. Is he still there? Oh, here.
I'm here, Misa. Yeah, I want to thank Munther for your updates from the ground in Gaza. I don't know what more to add about the genocide studies conference that we attended. I think my unprepared speech that I shared at the protest came out the way that it did because we attended a panel together as Doctors Against Genocide about the genocide in Gaza, and there were no Palestinian voices on that panel. Doctors Against Genocide had its own panel and workshop, and they were excellent. And I think people really appreciated the presence of Doctors Against Genocide at the conference. But to acknowledge the genocide is the bare minimum. And the location of which the conference took place, the Johannesburg Holocaust and Genocide Museum, has not even acknowledged the genocide in Gaza. And that's why the activists and the organizers in the local solidarity movement for Palestinian liberation protested outside of the conference 2 days out of the full week. And the speech that you just heard was from the second day of protests. And I must say, I think my experience here in Johannesburg in South Africa, the highlight of it has been meeting with activists, with organizers who understand that never again means never again for everyone, and anyone in this world. And it includes not only ending and stopping the genocide in Gaza, but it actually means full Palestinian liberation without conditions. And to be with activists and organizers who do the messy and necessary work of disrupting without the conditions of being civil or professional or being making others feel comfortable, which is a lot of what happens in these conference spaces, is you have to deliver your remarks and questions in a way that makes other people feel comfortable. But I'm sorry, genocide is fucking uncomfortable. It is an outrage to continue to witness genocide, and it's an outrage to know that scholars, especially scholars who study genocide, are so wholly complicit in upholding a narrative of complicity as the genocide in Gaza continues. We did meet some people who have good politics, are doing good work, and we will continue finding each other. And I think that's what I've learned from attending a conference that local activists weren't sure if they should put out a call for boycotting the conference. They weren't sure. And ultimately, we have to take up space in spaces where we might feel uncomfortable wearing a keffiyeh, showing solidarity with Palestine. We have to take up more and more space everywhere we find ourselves in, and do the necessary work of pushing every institution to do better, because it is only up to the people of conscience do institutions, do states, do companies divest and move to end their complicity. And we had the privilege of also listening to Francesca Albanese, the UN Special Rapporteur on the situation in Palestine, speak, and she highlights this exact moral issue of our time. Not only is the genocide in Gaza the moral issue of our time, but it is our responsibility as everyday people to push our institutions, our states, companies, pension plans, everywhere we have a connection, everywhere we have a voice, to end that complicity. And it's not just ending the genocide. It is ending the illegal occupation. It is ending the apartheid, and it is fighting for a free and liberated Palestine for Palestinians, recognizing the amazing and wonderful work of Palestinians on the ground, especially our healthcare workers. Healthcare worker colleagues continue to do the work of taking care of their communities and people during an ongoing genocide. But that doesn't absolve us of our responsibility and work to support those resistance efforts on the ground. Thank you.
Thank you, Yiping. It's interesting, of course, we were appreciative, of course, of the opportunity to be part of this conference. And the reason why we share this feedback is because we need to do so much work, to be in these spaces, to change the way the story is told, to change the way that scholarship is actually used to prevent genocide, and to mobilize academia towards real solutions, that are not really disconnected from what's happening on the ground. Interestingly enough, what we heard from the organizers in the International Association for Genocide Scholars is that they have actually pushed the resolution to recognize what's happening in Gaza as a genocide, and received tremendous pushback. So what's interesting is that there is this movement that's happening within the scholars and within academia to change the narrative and to change things around, but there still continues to be that much resistance. And I think when I reflect on this, what I think did well is to be there, and as Yiping mentioned, take up space and engage in very meaningful conversation. And the other thing too is, that we should never be okay with just the statement or the resolution. We need to demand more from academics and scholars and people who have built careers studying this stuff. And like I mentioned, when Nidal stood up and spoke truth to power, there was a lot of pushback from the speaker, the organizer, the president, they were all like, they all came to him and they wanted to stop that strong message that he was sharing. But what was really interesting is so many people came to Nidal and to us after saying, thank you for actually saying something. We were sitting there frustrated because it's an hour and a half of a speech that mentioned absolutely nothing about active genocides. And so all it takes is one courageous voice to speak out and to really highlight the deficit that we're dealing with for other people to speak out. And then after Nidal stood up and spoke, there were a lot of other participants who stood out as well and spoke and mentioned, other genocides that this speaker has failed miserably to mention. And so while we recognize that the organizers of this conference have actually provided us with the space to tell our story and to to present what we had, at the same time we should always expect more from from academia, from conferences, from any space, and we should never worry about doing it properly or worrying about like the etiquette of a conference, because what's really most pressing now is that there are active genocides that need to be stopped, and the role of academia should be looked at in that lens. What are we doing to confront genocide? What are we doing to actively stop it? Or are we just regurgitating information through books and research that leads us to nothing? The other thing that was really interesting is through the conversations we had with many participants, they were really happy to see us there, to see that there was this dedicated group of people that focused on the genocide in Gaza and the active genocides that we know about. The other part of this is that we have met so many amazing people from Congo, from South Africa, from Nigeria, from Kurdistan, from other countries that are also facing ongoing genocide, and we were able to build this network of collaboration and solidarity that will help us at Doctors Against Genocide build a more robust process for advocacy and for sharing these testimonies that will lead hopefully to mobilizing all healthcare workers to end genocide together. But South Africa, is a beautiful country. The people here are so incredibly generous. The place itself is just so beautiful, but you can't help wherever you go to feel the aftermath, those remnants of apartheid, the gated communities, the 40% employment rate, the very visible inequities. We did a tour in Soweto where you see where the students had their uprising and where the 12-year-old children were shot and killed. It's very, very similar. Oppression is similar across the board. Colonization is very, very similar. It leaves the same kind of exact marks, but it's interesting to learn from that experience because, South Africa is liberated, but they're still dealing with systemic and structural inequities that resulted from many years of oppression and colonization. But the level of solidarity was and is enormous, and we feel like I personally feel like my heart is full just from being here and being witness to a beautiful country with beautiful people. Thank you, everyone. Yes, you should share that, Yiping.
I think just something that you said, Mesa, just about how much work there is to be done, made me reflect on how work is love made visible, and that there's lots of work ahead, and may we all collectively work together for a free Palestine and an end to genocide everywhere.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mesa, and thank you, Yiping. Wow. I think it's amazing that you could be called a genocide scholar and yet totally ignore like what actively is happening. Like, what is the purpose? If you're studying the past, you're supposed to study the past to act on it in the future. So it's really incredible. I'm so proud to be friends with you all, and going and, doing the work that you did. I love what Yiping said about, have to, even if it's uncomfortable, you have to take up that space. And had Nadal not gotten up and spoken up, like there would not have been that focus. And I think it's kind of like that domino effect is like there are probably people, and there were people there who like were feeling the same way, but like, you just need one courageous person to like make the first step. And I think we can take that into everything that we're doing, like um just like looking at all the courage of the folks when they're getting on our webinar every week, like the doctors in Gaza, and so we need to use that as motivation to keep kind of pushing forward. So thank you guys so much, and looking forward to learning more and more about the time that you guys spent there. I believe Elvis. Oh, wait, hold on. Sorry, Elvis, right before you come on, I just saw Iyad on the call. So Iyad, Sharafna, please update us on what is going on. Iyad is a journalist and humanitarian coordinator on the ground in Gaza. He also oversees some of our DAG relief initiatives that are happening throughout Gaza, and he's going to provide us with some critical updates from the last 2 weeks since the ceasefire. It's Fadda.
Assalamu alaikum. I have thank you so much for your efforts, and Dr. Nidal and you and all of our colleagues. You achieve South Africa. This is great to talk about genocide and continue protecting the civilians and peoples, and to talk about the human being and do as activists for the human rights. Here in Gaza, the situation is still going worse, and one minute. So the situation here is still maybe worsening, but with other sides. All of us know the number of trucks entering Gaza. Just before 48 hours, 89 trucks without shelters, without maybe appropriate number of tents, and and mobile homes. They still prevent it as a double usage, and they still delay the complete implementation of humanitarian protocol. This is a very important issue. When we talk about the Israeli body, also we have bodies under the rubbles for the thousands of Palestinians. And from yesterday up today, just entering 1 cranes and 2 bulldozers and just little trucks for removing rubbles to complete the implementation for the ceasefire agreement from the Israeli side. But all of the relief committees and all of the initiatives here still sending a human appeal to increase. I will 1 minute, but my little boy just a minute.
Yeah, you muted.
Yeah. Now is 8 maybe 8 p.m. at 15 p.m. local times, and after 1 hour, all of our batteries, most of our batteries will completely empty. So we prepare ourselves to sleep early, and everything's here in Gaza become early. And so we, in my last advices, I talk about what's the meaning of renewing hope and sending hope for Palestinian people here in Gaza by lightening tents, lightening life, and let our children see the light again. You can imagine when all of our children still for more than 700 days under the darkness and under the bombardment and the fears. So we, in my observation, we must follow maybe a new plan to renew hope and to talk about rehabilitation psychologically and physically for our people. So when we touch the number of trucks entering Gaza, in my thoughts, we still under the using of famine as a weapon and starvation as a weapon and using the AIDS as a weapon. Yesterday, when the ICG court announced their decision against Israel about the fault, the big mistakes they taken against the UNRWA and the prevention to let UNRWA work functioning as before. It's a big fault for all of the international community to leave this without accountability. We need to increase the pressure over the international community about this point. The UNRWA, without the functioning here in Gaza, I believe we will not recover our life soon, and they let us suffer more and more because any alternative entity will not meet our needs. So we talk about a big organization, have a big database, a well-known knowledge over the ground with the people, and they manage relieving our life for more than 75 years. So when we talk about any alternative solutions, no one can meet. No one can meet it. So my advice, we need to let UNRWA as a big organization work again in Gaza because they will manage repairing sewage network, repairing roads, removing some rebels from the main roads, and let the life renew again, especially in the camps. If you know, my colleagues, we have here in Gaza more than 70 camps under the UNRWA management from the 1948, from when we displaced from all Palestine. So when we talk about UNRWA, we talk about a long history of knowledge and experience and well-known over the ground how they can manage this. And from my notes today, when I take round about more than 15 schools here, some classes of the schools emptied from the displacement peoples because they only need to establish the educational process here in some schools, especially in middle governance and in the south governance. But you know, the people have not any other places to go. So they asked us to provide them with the tents. We need more than 300,000 of tents urgently to enter in Gaza. We're still talking about this and other issues for more than 15 days. No tangible changes over the ground. And when I talk about the inflation prices in my last messages, we really touch the increasing and decreasing rapidly according to the just news in the media or the social media. So it's not fair for our people to still suffering from circumstances like that. The price of 1 kilogram of frozen chicken is past 80 shekels, maybe more than $25. It's not fair for our peoples after they pass this bad situation to still wait the nutritious food for a long time without shelters, without any aids that and special needs for receiving winter. Here in the coastal area, we talk about rainy winter. It's heavy, will become very bad, and our situation will worsen more and more. So we is still sending a humanitarian appeals multiple times, especially within the last 48 hours. but there's no any response from the international community that will let any actions here will take place over the ground. From my observation, they're still talking about the implementation of humanitarian protocols, but there's no any tangible actions. So we need to increase the pressure over the international community, to increase the pressure over the Israelis, to let the tents and shelters and mobile homes to enter Gaza. It's urgently. Without these basic needs, no one can talk about relieving Gaza or rescuing people or protecting children. It's just a statement. So, my colleagues, I know we will not leave, we will not give up, we will continue, but our people here still suffering by another ways. Yesterday night, they hit some targets in the Nusayrat, in my camps, and caused injuries between peoples. I was there around the region. All of my people, when they witness renewing gunfire and shooting and bombardment, all of the people in the street disappeared completely. They escaped under the fire. So we talk about a weak ceasefire, but from my notes, the increasing pressure from the international community and the charity like us and others will cause them to suspend and to have a complete commitment about the ceasefire agreement. This is very big note. When we talk about marches and stands in United States, in London, in all of the countries, we need to increase the pressure to let the humanitarian organization enter in Gaza. And also we need to talk about the international pressmen and journalists and all of the international channels to enter in Gaza, to cover Gaza from the other side. When we walk in the street here and see from your eyes, what's the meaning of rubble? What's the meaning of dust? What's the meaning of sewage water running in the street? You can touch more and more. What's the meaning of suffering? I spent more than 18 hours today, check arounds between camps and tents and just talking to the people and listening to them and record some statistics about the displacement and return to the Gaza. And a lot of my people return from Gaza town again to the south. They just rent land and put their tents and go to the Gaza to estimate the situation there. When they discover a huge destruction there and there is no any life sign within a huge area in western part of Gaza city and north part, they return again to the south because we have a little of the life sign, you know, here in the middle governance and some part of Deir al-Balah city and Khan Yunis. But in my observation, the implementation of the first phase of the ceasefire agreement, they put the yellow line. It's very dangerous, and no one can recognize what's the dangerous centimeter from the others. So yesterday and today, at the early morning, they sent a lot of tank shelters within the area beside the yellow line. And they send cautions in the radio and in the social media, don't be near at the yellow line. But no one can catch meters to measure the accuracy. Where's the yellow line? So this is up to the Israeli forces. They can recognize and they can estimate by themselves and they can hit any target under the claiming those peoples pass the yellow line. So when we talk about also the observation and monitoring for the implementation is very important issues to save our people's life and to guarantee their safety. We need to renew the farming and agriculture is completely destroyed, my colleagues. More than 90% of our land is completely cleansed and destroyed. nowadays we live in the olive season, and the harvest is maybe completely halt. No one can imagine from in my life, I didn't see something like this before. No farmers work in the land because there is no olive tree remains in Gaza. We lost more than 1 million and 0.1 olive tree. It's unbearable things that no one can imagine what's the side and bad side effects over our life, over our economy here, over our people here. So it's a complex equations. All of the bad circumstances gathered over our people here in Gaza. And the Israeli, when we talk about using starvation as a weapon, they completely stop all of the cross point around the Gaza and let the Karam Abu Salim and the alternative cross point of them for the fence road, Kisovim, entering a limited number of trucks with a limited type of goods and some needs, and they prevent a lot of our needs under the double usage clarification. So they need to let our people think about the suffering and will not grant us a chance to have a hope to renew our life. But our people still have a resilience here, and they still try to find their needs by searching about the goods in the market and doing farming around their tents. A lot of initiatives here still going, but we need sources, resources, financial support, a big organization that can manage these issues. The personal initiatives will not stand within these circumstances. So we want to talk about the sweet water also. Our people who returned to the Gaza city, they're still suffering from the lack and shortage of the sweet water. When they try with the Gaza municipality yesterday, digging and searching about underground water, they still facing difficulties and with the shortage of the huge machinery and also the shortage of the fuel. And even though the fuel exists here by the manual functioning here, but no one can pay for 1 liter of the solar past $15, 1 liter. So when we talk about the cost, we talk about astronomical things. No one here can manage his own life by this prices. And also, as aid workers, we really need to open all of the border points, entering trucks without restrictions, without clarification of them, the Israeli side. Under the UNRWA observation, it's very excellent to renew our life. My colleagues, when we talk about troubles, it's not just reopening roads, it's a psychological side, psychological support for our people. All of the international community stand with you, stand with the right side, with Gaza. And the meaning of the ceasefire is great, excellent. We achieved stop or halt all of the explosions, most of the explosions. But we still need you and need all of the world to renew our life. Here, the life is lost. And also our children still waiting to go to the school again. And this is as a father for 4 children, this is a big sign for life. We need it. We need it. So when I talked yesterday with Dr. Muhammad Al-Majdalawi, he's a supervisor for the educations in UNRWA. We discussed a lot about how we can evacuate people from the remaining schools, especially in the south, to grant the children a new chance to educate them and teach them. Really, we still face difficulties because we haven't any alternatives. So places with the guarantee shelters, with the tents for those people who will be evacuated more than 10 times in their life. So I hope something good will happen with the next few times. We need to increase our efforts with the main categories. With the first one, we need to let the trucks entering without restrictions, especially nutritious food and tents. This is the main goal now to protect people from the winter. The second issue, we must talk about preventing Israel using famine as a weapon. And they still manage the chaos by this way. The third things we must talk about providing Gaza with the sweet water, and this is very important. Most of my observation here, when I talk to my people in the tents, they're still suffering from the pain in their stomach and their abdomen from the water and the pollution and the different materials entering and the dust from the explosions around them still affecting their life. And the fourth thing is we need to accelerate the medical evacuation for our children. Yesterday, they just granted permission for 40 wounded people to evacuate from Gaza. It's not a ceasefire implementation by this number. It's very little number. It's trivial for when we compare the 40 injuries by the thousands and thousands of people still waiting to save their lives. So this is the four main issues that we need to talk about and to increase awarenesses and mobilize it for all of the international community, my colleagues. I hope I give you updates and inshallah we'll continue. Thank you so much, Roxana, Dania, Iman, Yibing, Elvis, Mats, all of you. If I forget anyone, please forgive me. But when I watch my screen, I see your faces and I touch your soul, achieve our hearts, even thought you physically didn't come to Gaza. Inshallah, we'll continue. Thank you so much for your continuity, my colleagues. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Iyad, as always, for sharing all the important news.
Thank you so much, Iyad, for that update. Oh, sorry, go ahead, please.
Yeah, I just wanted to segue to Ro Islam from Rohingya, one of our Rohingyan connections and supporters, and he has some things that he would want to share about recent experience if we can give him the floor. So Ro, are you there? Sorry, just giving him the panelist. Hello, Ro. Yep,
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to share about my support and then hospitality with the peoples of Gaza and then the situations of Gaza, and also to share the same situations of our people who are facing the same way. There is a things pushes difference between Gaza and then Rohingya situations who are inside the Arakan state, which is also known as Rakhine state inside the Myanmar. Now the world can see what is happening in Gaza through the online, through the advocate activists and some other international community partner, civil society organization. Everyone is sharing about the Gaza one, including us. And also, I'm someone else who is also supporting the Gaza and the situations of the people of Gaza. No, but there's no one else who can cover the situations of Rohingya due to the blocked age of network connection. There's no one who can able to use any kinds of SIM, and no one be able to attend any kinds of meeting anywhere else. But the main thing about our people who are inside their camps, are facing Islamophobia. This is a religious crisis now. If someone who is belonging from the Rohingya community, who is also there talking about the Islamic from Muslim community, they hatred us and also they deny from every kind of stage. So that's why we, the people who are facing a systematic genocide, uh, more than 8 years. So that's why we, the people who have been flew from due to the persecuted and committed genocide against we, the Rohingya, in 2017 by the Myanmar military, approximately 7 points, uh, like 7.5 lakh, something more approximately 1 million people have flee to the Bangladesh with the status of FDM and Myanmar Muslim National First Unity or UN also used us as a refugee, but and also IOM use us as a migrant. But the main thing is that we, the people who are living since 8 years in Bangladesh, people who can have the restriction a lot of, like we did have any kinds of higher educational opportunity, and then restrictions of movement, lack of documentary, lack of the representation from the camp to the international level. We are not able to move anywhere. We don't have any kinds of certificate to attend any kinds of university. And then the main thing, if we understand, we try to understand what is happening here. Among our community, more than 90% of the people are lack of income, so, and then approximately 85% of people are the uneducated, and then where more than 60% of the people are children. So that's why we didn't able to see any kinds of future of us. So we would love to hear from all of you to support us as much as you can, not only from the Gaza, and also I strongly believe that Doctor Against Genocide also helped us before, and then they raised our voice besides raising voice for the Gaza, and then some other displaced communities as well. So that's why we'd be very happy to have you all together with us, and also basically I'm sorry to share my personal information to introduce myself. Basically, I'm Rumi Islam from the World Rights Certificate, the founder and executive director of Rohingya Genocide Prevention Research Network. And then also, I'm the chair of Center for Rohingya Crisis Studies, where we are reporting mainly on the border issue, and then the situations of the Rohingya inside the Arakan state, and then inside the Bangladesh and the refugee camp, and also outside of the Bangladesh in diaspora. So we are covering a report of Mali, and then also we are collecting human rights documentation, and also we are reporting on the health crisis as well. So we'd be happy to get help from every one of you, especially from the Doctor Against Genocide as well. And we are very grateful to share our voice with the Doctor Against Genocide. And thank you so much for having me. And also, I must stand with you all, and also all of the injustice facing in the world wherever else. Thank you so much.
Thank you for sharing, Ro, and thank you for all you do with your work on the ground and educating the people about the situation. I know Elvis is around. If you can share about.
Yes, thank you very much. Evening or greetings from us in Goma, DRC Congo. Before I give you an update on the work that we have done for the last 3 weeks since we received the support from Dr. Against Genocide, I would like to say thanks to the DAG team that went to South Africa and be the voice of so many of us who were being oppressed. So thank you very, very much for raising awareness about whatever is happening to us, the genocide in Gaza, the genocide in Nigeria, Congo, Sudan. So thank you very, very much for that. That was very, very touching. We are continuing supporting displaced people who are mainly in hospitals around the town of Goma. And this week, we did two main activities. The very first one was to pay the hospital bills for displaced women and children. And those women have been in hospital for weeks, if not for months, because they could not afford to pay a 25 US dollar or 35 or 50 US dollar so that they can go home. Those women and children mainly, because those are the ones that we supported, the majority are women and children, they will be kept in hospital with no support at all, with no food, no place to sleep. Most of them sleep outside in the compound of the hospital. Yes, we do understand. I think last time I did mention this. We do understand that the few hospitals that still take displaced people are overwhelmed. They've got a big number of people who are coming for treatment, so they have to leave the space and the bed for others. But the worst part of that is they will spend days, they will spend weeks with no food, no water, nothing. There are a lot of children who are malnourished inside the hospital. They can't get treatment and they can't get food. So what we did was we went back to an activity that we did few months ago, that was feeding between 200 and 250 patients and their family members. So the grant that we received has helped us to support till now 52 women and children. And also we managed to distribute food this week to about 250 patients at the hospital in Goma. The humanitarian crisis is going worse for the fact that there is no bank, there is no business, there is no support. And the majority of people who were displaced, who used to be in the displacement camps, stayed in Goma, and they don't have any ways of getting money or getting support. The international organization that are supporting the displaced people, they are not supporting anyone who stayed back in Goma or Bukavu. They only support people who went back to their villages when we know those villages and cities are not safe for many of them because it's still under the control of the rebels. And that is why we've got a lot of people here in Goma and Bukavu who are in need. We've got a lot of children who are malnourished. We've got a lot of women, pregnant women, who are not getting any support at all. They don't have access to hospital. They don't have access to any health care. And we are trying to get in contact with them and support them as much as we can. We're still receiving report of a lot of sexual assault, especially to young girls. This week, I met part of my filmmaking work. I met two young girls who were assaulted this week by soldiers. And the way they describe the event is appalling. Once again, the media is not talking about what is happening to the young girls in this country. No one is paying attention to their safety. It is getting worse, and we don't know why people are not acting at all. So we are grateful for the support that we are receiving. And I can say on behalf of Agissons Ensemble, my sister, who she's not here tonight, I can say that your support is helping a lot of families, is changing a lot of lives, and we are so grateful to have the voice among the people who understand our struggle, among the people who are fighting for justice, among the people who are fighting to end genocide. So thank you very, very much. And I hope I will get more, if not the same, next week. To all of you out here, thank you very much for your support, and thanks for the fight you are leading on our behalf.
Thank you for sharing all this, and this has been an amazing partnership for DAG, and we're very proud to help you and support the people of the Congo. Truly,
Thank you very
truly.
much.
And
I see we have Philippe on. Philippe works in close relation with Hadija. Philippe, if you can just provide us with like a quick update on efforts. Philippe and Hadija lead the Let's Act Together initiative in Congo. Philippe, the floor is yours.
Hello, everyone. Good evening, or good morning, or afternoon, depending on the places where you are. This is a great privilege for me to be here. I think this is the third time I'm here, and it's always a great honor. As Brother Elvis was saying, I am in Goma, in the Democratic Republic of Congo, and we're working with Adija in a medical center called Afya Yetu in Goma, where we are helping pregnant women generally and young children who are the most vulnerable if we talk about their health status. Here we take care of them from the antenatal consultation until the delivery and even the vaccination of young children. So for the past 2 weeks, I've been with them with the team in Sake. This is in Masisi territory near Goma, where we went to visit a hospital. This hospital is taking care of people who were in displacement camps and went back home. As Brother Elvis was saying, some of them met their houses already destroyed because the hospital in which we were in Sake was totally damaged, and they couldn't do anything with that because they don't get any support from the government or partners, no NGOs. So the only thing we could afford doing by that time was to provide them with some medicines that could help their people, because since they are in a village and they are treating people who are in displacement camps, these people can't afford any bills. So we gave them some medicines that will be helping them for a few days. Then there is a young child of 11 years. Yeah, he's 11 years old, who is crippled since he was born, who received a wheelchair because the parents were explaining that he couldn't move. And during now these fights and wars, when there is an outbreak of war, they can't even know how to move him. So it could be good for us to help him the way we could. And we found a way of getting a wheelchair for him that will be enabling him to move at least. And we said in case he would need to go to school, since he is okay, he's mentally fine, it's just that he can't use his legs, that wheelchair could be helping him. So I take this opportunity to thank the great team of Doctors Against Genocide for the great work they're doing. Thank to all the donors, people who understand the situation that is happening in this side. And we hope that together we will keep on making the world a better place for all. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Philippe. And I see that Dr. Nidal just joined us. Dr. Nidal, how's travel going? Please update us on your experience in the last week.
Hello, everyone. I'm still at the airport actually, so my connection might not be great, but it's good to see everyone. I'm only mad.
يعطيك العافية. أنا بدي أقاطعك يا عمي، ما شاء الله عليك.
تفضل.
والله
تفضل.
عابر القارات يا دكتور نضال. شوفي بحكي معك بتقولي في جنوب أفريقيا.
يا جنوب أفريقيا مرة واحدة يا.
الله يعطيك العافية، يعطيك العافية يا رب.
الله يعافيك. I'm actually sad that we left South Africa. The only one who's staying there is Yiping and Maisa, so we're very jealous of them. And I really want every one of you to visit South Africa. This is a country that is like no other. You will love it. It's the best place for the people of conscious people who are oriented toward justice to visit. The whole country is great. It's peaceful. The people are welcoming. It's just a great place to visit. We can talk more about the conference or experience later on, but now I just want to thank everyone, thank Ribhi and the team, Dania and everyone for running the webinar. Good to see Iyad here. And I heard your intervention. It was great. Unfortunately, the situation in Gaza is not getting better, as you said. So that's why we have to keep working, all of us. Yeah, that's all. I'm waiting for Ammar, for my son to come and pick me up. I could have taken an Uber, but I did not want to. I want to bother him. So when he joins, I'll have him also talk.
سلم على عمار يا ابو عمار، سلم
الله
عليه.
يخليك. هلا بخليه يحكي معكم هلا. انا عامل له كمين.
يعني
I'm
بشرفنا.
making a surprise for him. He will not. He does not expect to be on the webinar. So we'll see.
ان شاء الله ان شاء الله، خلينا نشوفه.
Okay, Rabhi. We have, I think, Doctor. Who else is next now?
Well, Dr. Sweet just joined.
Dr.
Hi, Dr.
Sui will
Sweet.
be, yes. Dr. Sui is good.
Hello, sorry to be late. I'm here. I'm listening. Please carry on. I had a long chat with Hassan Zahid, so he's all prepared to be invited to talk about Sudan next week. Oh, the other thing I want to ask you is that, you know, in UK we have made a big deal about asking Russia to pay compensation for war damage to Ukraine, right? So far, nobody has actually spoken about Israel paying compensation to war damage in Gaza. So I just want to ask everybody, what do they think of this?
What's the question again, Dr. Sui?
Okay, I repeat. Okay, in UK, you know, our Prime Minister and everybody talks a lot about stripping the effect of the Russians to pay war damage in Ukraine. So that's the lowest common denominator. Everybody talks about it. It's on news all the time. So I just wonder, why is nobody talking about Israel paying compensation for the destruction in Gaza? After all, they are the ones who bomb and destroy Gaza, right?
Yes.
So is there any initiative to hold them accountable, and therefore they must pay for the damages? Because it's not the first time. Every time they destroy half of Gaza, this time they destroy 90% of Gaza, somebody else pay for the damages. And in the rebuilding, I'm talking about cast lead and protective edge, the bill is paid for somebody else. And then in the process of rebuilding, Israel makes a lot of money out of the rebuilding as well. Maybe it's not something I should spring at you all like that, but it's something that we should think about.
Yes, I agree. I mean, Israel got used to impunity. The West and especially the United States have been giving Israel the free card, free out of jail card all along, and they have never been held accountable to their crimes. But this time, this is a genocide. It's upon us, the people, to make sure that Israel is held accountable to the crimes, the war crimes, the genocide they committed, and that will go way and above and beyond just rebuilding Gaza. They have to pay to all the damages they committed to the Palestinian people from day one, since the Nakba. And that includes giving the land back, and that includes every Palestinian go back to their land and the right of return, and both the physical, the material, and the psychological damage they imposed on the Palestinian people for the last century. Israel and its supporters are responsible for this. And as you said, they always get away with it. They never paid for the crimes they commit. That's why they keep committing them back. And we know that this type of people, if they don't pay, if that doesn't hurt them financially, they keep doing them, and they feel emboldened. And again, they have never been held accountable ever. That's why it doesn't cost them anything, and someone else will pick up the cost and the tab. We need to change this now. Of course, you will not expect this to come from Trump or from Egypt or from the Palestinian Authority. All these complicit systems and regimes that have been always the reason why Israel has never been held accountable. We need to change that. Yeah. What do you want to say about this?
Yeah. صحيح دكتور رضال and دكتورة سو. I agree completely with you. ICG quote yesterday when they talk about the Israeli decision against the UNRWA, they also send some notes about accountability and paying compensation.
Yeah.
The Israel paid the compensation for one time within the history. One time before 40 years, they pay for one case just. So this is a very important case you talk about. Yes, I agree. We need to document and make a case and to provide the evidence. It's very clear for all the international community that can cause a change for them. I know the Israeli society hate, maybe Dr. Nadal know, they hate to pay any money for the others. So when we increase the pressure within this case, it's very important also, I agree with you. We need to work and maybe Dr. Nadal and other organization can do that. The compensation is very important to increase the pressure over the Israelis.
Yeah.
They didn't need to pay for also when they destroy the life completely here in Gaza, they must pay a compensation not just for rebuilding buildings, but also for the humans, for the civilians, for the children, for all of the they just send statements about apologizing about some mistakes when they kill Al-Banna family, more than 100 martyrs within one family.
Yeah.
So no one can imagine what's the meaning of compensation about this, but we need to bring them for accountability and to force them. We will try. We will not give up.
Even I tell you, even if you cannot, accept the whole compensation, if you just work on, okay, I say for example, one hospital, Al-Aqli. Al-Aqli is certainly nothing to do with Hamas. It's a Christian hospital, right?
Yeah.
So there can be no excuse. So when they actually bombed the first round on the 17th of October and killed nearly 500 in the car park.
Yeah.
Now
I remember.
Yeah, that one is the beginning of destroying hospital. That's the first hospital. I think they actually did it to test and see whether they can get away with it. Because if they can get away with doing that to Christian hospital, then they can do it the whole of Gaza. So that will be a very clear-cut example that there's no Hamas, there's no tunnels, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
And so that will be, you find some case like that. Not, I'm just saying actually just as an example, but it can be any example, So something completely clean, so that no excuse them and to make a precedent. So once you get a precedent done, you see, then they think twice about doing this.
Yes.
Especially children's school and all that. Yeah.
Yeah, yes. Everything's here. Yes.
But how do we do it? We think about it. Maybe something will. You can advise us what's the best way of doing this.
Yeah.
Actually, during our stay in South Africa, we talked to a lot of people from South Africa, and the lessons we learned from South Africa are very, very applicable here in Palestine. In South Africa, they ended the apartheid in political terms, so people are free, people can vote, but there was no reparations and there was no compensation. So the rich people who made the money off the backs of the South African continue to be rich, and the poor people continue to be poor. That's why South Africa now, the people of South Africa, the general public are really struggling economically because they continue to be poor. They said the unemployment rate in South Africa for the young people is about 70%. For general public is about 40 to 50%. That is all happening because they did not do it right.
Yes.
They did forgiveness and reconciliation without reparations, without compensation.
Yeah.
And that's why the whole country is at risk now because of this. There's a high crime rate. Sorry about that. I got to.
You're in the airport still.
Yeah, so the crime rate is very high because of the poverty, unemployment, all these things. The distribution of wealth is very unfair. And the lesson to learn from this is, in our case, we have to do it right. And we're even urging the people of South Africa to fix this and do it right. We know that for, nations after these catastrophes, there is an urge to move on.
Yes.
But that does not mean that those who commit the crime get away with everything and leave the poor people, the people who have lost
victims.
everything without the means to move forward. So any resolution to this should include full reparation, full compensation to put people on the same level so they can move forward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We in Gaza we have nearly 40,000 orphans, right? 40,000, maybe even more. And these 40,000, who is going to bring them up?
I'm glad you brought this up. Actually, me and Karama on our way to the airport yesterday, there is the organization called PAMA. I know many of you know of PAMA.
Yeah.
The Palestinian-American Medical Association. They have a campaign to help the orphans, and they started with a few hundred of them.
Mm-hmm.
And they started the campaign yesterday or the day before. They did
Good.
it last year. And we in DAG, we committed to help 50 orphans for the whole year. Each orphan is about $2,000 to help them. So for 50 orphans, we committed $100,000 from DAG to help those 50 orphans to take full responsibility for their care, for their food, for their education, their health. And I'm happy too that you brought up the issue of the orphans. There are almost 40,000 orphans who need help, plus the 2 million people who also have all their livelihood destroyed. So the task is huge. We as small groups, we need to continue to do what we can, but there should be also a solution at the big level from the countries that committed this genocide or
the people who
supported
make
this
the
genocide
bombs.
or silent. Yes.
Yeah. The people who make the bombs have to do something. Then we talk about the martyrs' family. If we have got 1,800 health workers killed, this is we're talking about our colleagues. Then 1,800 families are without income. So those people has to be, we've got to support them as well, right? So we have to make an itemized kind of structured inventory. Otherwise, it will be so much, we really don't know what it is. But what we can deal with is on people, on the children who they're destitute, maybe living with neighbors and so on. At least we sponsor them. And then the martyrs' family, to give relief to the family, because there's no welfare. Gaza is really stuffed, So like that, one at a time. Maybe these two are good to think about.
Yes. Again, we committed yesterday to sponsor 50 orphans.
Yeah.
And
That is fantastic.
most probably we will increase the number. I think there is still too many orphans who need help. We did not prepare a special fundraiser for that campaign yet because it just happened last night.
Yeah, I know, but we could, yeah.
But please, this is a call for everyone. that we are also trying to help sponsor the orphans for the whole year. Each orphan will cost $2,000. 50 is about $100,000. And I think most probably we're going to increase the number to 100 or 200. So please try to help us, try to, donate to this campaign too. And I know there is so much to do, so many things to donate for, but helping orphans, the orphans is one of the, the highest level ways of giving and helping, because they are left without anyone, no one to take
This
care
is
of them.
terrible. Yeah.
Dr. Nadal, Dr.
Tafadhal.
Nadal, I have a suggestion about set up a new camps for orphans under DAG supervision. We can do that, especially in Gaza and in the south. So I will send a proposal for you if you hope that, and my colleagues, and to cooperate with the others here locally for the orphanage. They have an experience about how we can manage, and I trust in them. And we work with the children at number also by this way. And we, alhamdulillah, we succeeded for more than 500 cases. So, yeah, from my observation, we can do more by DAG, and our flexibility, we can succeed in this file, especially with the orphans who lost some of their parts of the bodies, especially the amputated and burned bodies.
Injuries,
injuries with the bad injuries. Those orphans need special support, special cares, and in my thoughts, we need those as a prioritizing the level of orphans. I know a lot of orphans, they have relatives, cousins, aunts, they can take care of them. But the other side, we have more than 2,500 of orphans. They was the last survival for their families. So we can take these sectors and take care for them more than others. So we can manage with Dr. Nadal. He's a great leadership for DAG.
Thank you.
Inshallah.
Yes, please go ahead and put this work.
Inshallah.
For now, we're gonna support them through PAMA, support whatever we can support through PAMA. Until you prepare, because the numbers are huge, not PAMA. I mean, none of us alone can do it. So we will keep our word with them. Plus, go ahead and prepare that study, and we can work with that too. Go ahead.
But also, I want to say something. Also, we fundraise is one thing. I think we can fundraise, but also to have a legal element, right? So the people who kill the parents have to support the orphans to grow up in Gaza, not to be adopted out, but to grow up in Gaza. So like for instance, you see, I'm thinking like a criminal case. Okay, if somebody run down and kill a child's parents in UK or USA, if you go to court, the judge will order compensation for the whole life of the child until he's economically independent. So the people who killed these children's parents is IDF, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So it is we are not asking for them to say sorry, it's just a mistake.
No, we didn't need sorry.
We don't need that. Okay, we need concrete action. Yeah. So,
I agree with you. We need to talk about compensation from different sides. It's a big case, and we need to organize it and to talk with a lot of sides. Maybe Dr. Ridal will help in this. By the South Africa, they maybe have good interventions for a long time from the beginning of the genocide. So we need their helps and their experience here.
So the situation in South Africa was not done right. From history, I think the only time that there was real compensation for the victims was the Holocaust.
Yes.
And Holocaust survivors continue to get compensations to this day.
Yeah, to the
And
grandchildren.
I think this should be the model that we should study and try to replicate here, because the victims of the Holocaust, the one who got the real compensation, unfortunately, are the ones who committed this genocide. And the same way they were compensated, they should be obligated to compensate the others. And maybe this might be
This is one
mechanism
way.
of prevention too.
Yes.
So next time,
Yeah.
before they think about committing more crime, they know that they will not get away with it like always.
Yeah.
But thank you for raising this important point, Dr. Sui. Until we hold them accountable, we cannot leave the children and the mother, the fathers without anything.
Yeah,
So we have to
I know.
to do
So
everything we
it's all
can.
side by side. Yeah.
Yes, until
No,
the
no, we
court,
got to raise money. We wait for
until
them.
the courts.
People will
Yes.
die. Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
I agree.
Yep.
Thank you. Thank you for
Thank you.
listening.
Daniel, who's next? Do we have anyone need to speak?
No, we've gone through our speakers for today.
We have Hadil. Does she want to speak, Professor Hadil or Dr. Hadil?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Hadil, are you
Assalamualaikum,
there?
everyone.
Alaikum salam.
I am sorry. I'm driving. I tried to join in just to be a participant, but I guess from weeks ago when I was a panelist, it just diverted me to that. So I appreciate the conversation regarding the orphans. I actually had contact with a family this morning in Gaza, and the mom of one of our medical students through Education Rising was telling me, she said, Hadid, we're not seeking help just for us. If we want help for everyone.
Correct.
And so when we talk about support, right now they are in Dir al-Balah, and she was saying that they're originally from Shaja'iyya, which they are not allowed to go to because of the yellow line, this supposed yellow line that exists, but that there's not enough sweet water right now for the community there. So there isn't access to water that is healthy for them. And the second portion that she had mentioned was the lack of education, because all of the schools are being used to house families that don't have anywhere to go. So she was asking in terms of like what could be done for education purposes, and trying to see what we can do, but it's just so difficult because even people who are trying to send money to Gaza, I found out that some of the organizations have had their assets frozen and cannot get money in to continue the programs, mental health programs, art therapy programs, things like that. Everything is for their money's been now put on hold. So I don't know who could be a contact person to help with this process, but the notion that all money going into Gaza has to be screened is absolutely ludicrous, because the money is going to organizations that are doing the work on the ground, that are supporting the civilians in Gaza. So I don't know if that was something that was discussed or something that we could talk about maybe in the future to try to help establish, at least starting with the water, right? Making sure that people have the clean water that they need, and how we could help support that.
I think, Hadil, the best person to talk to about this is Iyad, and he's here with us.
Yeah, he
And
just mentioned that.
Iyad and Hadil keep saying sweet water. Sweet water, for people who are outside of Gaza, they mean drinkable water. It doesn't mean that people in Gaza are putting sugar on their water. No.
It's potable water.
Drink.
Yes.
Drinkable water. And alhamdulillah, we at DAG, we did not have the issue of our assets or the money that we sent to be frozen yet. So far, alhamdulillah, we're able to get the money there.
No, don't say yet. Don't say
Not
yet.
You never know. I mean,
No, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, believe me, they can go after.
Dr.
Far we're good.
Dr. Hadid, إذا في عندكم احتياج ملح بلغيني فيه بكرة الصبح. أنا متحرك على غزة، وحددي لي مكان المخيم وفورا إحنا بنتحرك. يعني على التليفون بنحرك سيارات المي لصالح للشرب، فما تهمليش هم.
تمام إذا إحنا بنتواصل، بدلك على الجماعة اللي موجودين في دير البلح.
ممتاز. دير البلح جنبي، أنا بكرة في دير البلح موجود من الصباح.
تمام، يسلموا.
ابعتي لي رقمهم وأنا بوصلهم مع جماعة يعبوا يضلهم مية
حلو.
طول الشهر الجاي.
Sounds good. That would be perfect. Thank you.
I'll connect you. I'll connect you. We'll make a group with the especially for this. ولا يهمك.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
And we have our leader, Dr. Karam Hawash, wants to say something. Where is Dr. Karam Hawash?
in Boston Airport. I just arrived.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, me too.
يعطيك العافية دكتورة كرامة.
أنا
الله يعافيك. يا باش.
سبقتك بساعة أنا.
It's great to see everyone. Thank you for our participants. Thank you for our attendees. I just wanted to say, the reparation is extremely important and it has to be done. It is a long-term plan. We know how used Israel is to impunity. It doesn't seem like, it's going to be a quick thing.
No.
Ceasefire is happening and they are still limiting aid.
Yeah.
So we have to be realistic and we have to source out all the things that we can do to help the people in Gaza survive right now with the formula that we have, while keeping in mind that long term there has to be accountability. Because without accountability, this pattern will continue to repeat itself. And the same thing is for Sudan, for Congo. I just want to say one thing. We came back from South Africa, and we attended the International Association for Genocide Scholars. We had the workshop, we had the panel. Lexi, one of our group members, had also a presentation about the prevention of genocide. International Association for Genocide Scholars has called what is happening in Gaza a genocide. The president, Dr. Melanie O'Brien, has put a very strong statement saying that it is a genocide. She is definitely on the right side of the genocide. I do not want anyone to think that the International Association for Genocide Scholars is on the wrong side of history. Not at all. They have actually put a resolution that passed by 83%, which is the majority of their members. And they have been experiencing significant pushback and significant harassment from the president all the way down. It is an organization that has serious scholars. The difference between our approach and the genocide scholarship approach is that we are very proactive. We are on the ground. We bring the people voices, and we ourselves are people who are suffering from a genocide as Palestinians. So we do have the urgency. We do have the feelings of like something has to happen right away. And sometimes scholarship takes time and takes a lot of reflection and a lot of recording, which does not match the urgency of the moment. But we are very grateful for the opportunity to be there. We have made excellent connections. We have met amazing genocide scholars. Genocide scholarship is very interesting because there is the studies of what makes genocide happen and what are the factors that lead to a genocide to happen. Also, there is a study of the perpetrators. There is a study of the society. It's a very academic field that has where there is a lot of research that is being done. And it is definitely not an activist atmosphere, and it's not an activist group, and it is not an activist scholarship. It's purely scholarship. So there is a gap between prevention and scholarship, and the focus on prevention and the focus on scholarship. We had many useful discussions. We met genocide scholars from Congo, from Bosnia, from Kurdistan. It's a very, very rich field. I do not want people to leave this webinar feeling that we are dismissive of the efforts or the scholarship that is being done by our colleagues in the scholarship, in the genocide scholarship groups. On the contrary, we are hoping that we will have the space and the opportunity to work together and strengthen this field, because we all know that, genocide actually 0.25% of the world population right now is suffering from the effect of genocide or war. So it is a massive problem.
Yeah.
Every single country of the world has suffered from a genocide at least once. And when we compare the death records from genocide, compare it to the death records from war or disease, from pandemics, communicable disease, genocide is significantly more. It dwarfs all the others. What that tells us is that we need all the efforts and we need to put our hands together, and everything helps. So the scholarship, we heard from a scholar at the Genocide Scholarship who studied the difference in reference to the genocide in Gaza between the media in Germany and the media in the USA. And it is a very scholarly study, but it shows a very interesting thing. In the USA, we actually have a little bit more freedom in expression. We're able to say things as it is, while in Germany, people are almost programmed to talk about the crime, but never about the criminal. And it's because of how intimidated they are from the Holocaust, and because they feel that, Israel is a taboo topic. They cannot even touch it.
Cannot mention the name.
So for us, I mean, I personally found a lot of the talks extremely informative. I appreciated the colleagues who are there. There was some tone policing, which is, as you all know, is a very common thing in academic forums. Who has gone to an academic forum where there was no tone policing? I don't think any of us did. And I have to say, compared to the medical field, where almost zero discussions are allowed on Gaza, there was several panels with the IAGS, and it is a genocide scholarship. So everything is on the table for discussion. So I think, yes, there is a lot of work to do, and we need a lot of connections to build. At the same time, we have to acknowledge the work of our colleagues in the genocide Holocaust scholarships and push them further, and maybe also lend our approach to life. We, as a medical community, we do not wait for the patient, for the exact diagnosis, and we do not wait for a committee of specialists to come to the diagnosis before we start a treatment plan. We check vital signs. If there is something wrong, we immediately do something. We have the urgency in the hospital or in the clinic to do something immediately. This is our job, to educate our colleagues and to build this field to make it more effective, and to have our contribution as a medical community be meaningful in genocide prevention. This is what I wanted to clarify, and I felt that it's important, especially on the heels of coming back from South Africa just now.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yes.
Wonderful.
I don't know who. I think Jihan has her hand up.
Yeah.
Jihan, not Joan, Johan. Okay.
I know we have your name as Johan.
Okay, sorry, I'm driving for that. There is no camera. Regarding to the orphans, because the first time when the crisis started in Gaza, I talked with our team on the ground about the orphans, and I asked them, and always I asked them about orphans. They told me orphans in Gaza is totally different. Orphan in Gaza, you can isolate orphan of and other children. You can say this is tens for orphans, because the orphans in Gaza, if there is uncle, he will take care of the orphans. If there is auntie, she will take care of orphans. Even if there is neighbor, they will take care of orphans. Nobody leave the orphans alone. So you can't isolate, you can't serve orphans separate and put them in tents and say, I want to serve orphan. He told me, my colleague, he told me, this is impact them, this is not good for them to isolate them from the society because, give them يعني advantage and or give them services and far from other children. For that he said the orphans is part of the society, part of the community. So can you please Dr. Iyad explain about this idea, because this is what I understand from our team in Gaza. Thank you.
يعطيك العافية. Look, your colleagues describe from the side of the community within the genocide, but from the religion perspective and from the orphan perspective, no. In our works, we need to serve this sectors for a lot of reasons, multiple reasons. The first one, the orphans who lost the two parents. It's not easy for them to pass the life, even though they still live in family for cousins or others relatives. But as a father and as you are as a mother or my colleagues touch my meanings for taking care orphans within the winter, within they still suffering from injuries. Those children need special care. In my thoughts, no one can take care for those children better than their parents. But from my observation, when we talk about orphans, we talk about thousands and thousands. In previous war, Gaza, we have hundreds of orphans just. So when talk about orphanage, it's under the observation and protection for the Ministry of Development and the Palestinian Authority here. But this genocide produces thousands and thousands. So we need to mobilize these cases and to talk about what's the meaning for the complex situation: orphans, displacement, expulsion, amputations, burns, severe injuries. It's a very complex situation for the orphans. I know a lot of my orphans who we distribute glasses for them and hearing aids. Those orphans still suffering from an inability to see very well. They lost their glasses within the bombardment. Their alternative families didn't take care for them because they didn't recognize their eye problem as a father and mother. This is one simple example why we need to take care for orphans by specialists, by special agencies, by special charities, and also with the people who can have experience in this field. So, in my observation, no, we need to expand our vision to deal with the orphans. Look, when we talk about some families here in Gaza, in my thoughts, they didn't have an ability to take care of orphans because they're still living in tents with the bad conditions. But when we compare with the other families, they have an excellent tent with an excellent economical situation levels that can pay for them and protect them. So it's different from family to family. So there's no any basis for the comparison. But with the well-done organization like UNRWA, like others who is taking care for orphanage, they can manage this file by the cooperation with the families, with the cousins, with the others. But when we talk about families, yes, I agree with you. No one can distinguish between the children who is orphans or no. Most of our children is still suffering from the bad economical situation and other nutritious lack and nutritious food is very rare here and very expensive. So this is situations like all of the other problems. We need to divide it and to solve it step by step. It's upon to our ability, our fundraising, our existence over the ground. Everything's here can play a role to push the help for those people, and inshallah we will succeed. So يعني احنا هديل محتاجين انه يكون في وعي اكبر. We need to be aware about all of the situation, circumstances, and others rules. And the environment is maybe move rapidly. No one can expect what's the next days will happen here. I heard promises from international community and especially the Australian government. Today they talked, one of the ministers talked to us here. They need to set up a huge camp for the orphans. We hope that will happen under the development of ministry here or the cooperation with others. If that happens, I expect some of our worries will disappear. Inshallah will happen, and we need countries to do intervention for this case especially.
I mean, Dr. Iyad, that what I heard from different colleagues in Gaza, on the ground in Gaza, they told me that you can provide, because part of our family, they need to adopt orphans or something like this. He said you can provide them with orphans with services between their family or between their neighbors or between their siblings, but not you can't take the orphans and put them in a camp.
Not isolated.
No. Yes, I agree with you. For our society perspective, yes, I agree with you. Like you send your children to the school and you return the last day.
Yes, this is what I mean.
I want to say something. After this, I want to say something. Our concept is, no, I'm asking you because this happened in Lebanon, Tel Zata, lots of orphans. So we got the big Akta Samud, and then Shatila, whole lot civil war. The idea is not to build an orphanage. We don't want orphanages because Palestinian society is very different. The extended family will easily take a child that's orphan. Okay, so he is also a member of the family, but sponsorship is a different thing. That child will, number one, he'll need food, he needs schooling, he needs all that. So if we say we're helping an orphan, it is not taking an orphan out to put him in a camp that's orphanage, but we are putting some money in the family of the orphan to take care of him. And in the process, also take care of the rest of the children in the family. So it is building community support. Now we lost Dr. Iyad. Okay. Yeah.
So I heard you. Yes, the Lebanon maybe experience it's different from the Gaza perspective.
I know that, of course.
Yeah, and also the number of orphans here is completely different, and it's past our expectation. And we will compare with the previous maybe conflict. It's completely different. So we need the help, like other files, with the removing rebels, reopening roads, and orphans, and wounds, injuries. And up to this moment, the WHO doesn't know what will they do with the thousands and thousands of injuries. They have a referral reports that ready over the system and checked, and everything is done for their treatment, and just still waiting the Israeli permission for those peoples. So everything is here is move slowly, and I talked about that all of our files need to increase the pressure to push it, go and to move rapidly. I agree with all of your views. We have no time to still waiting the slightly moving and little progress in the helping and relieving Gaza. Gaza is completely destroyed in everything things here completely. So yes, every file when we talk, we need a lot of webinar hours and hours talking and describing the situation. But in my views, we need to do interventions, even though it's little. But we need to move. We need to move, and we will encourage others to move with us.
So what do you think is the most feasible thing to do within the next 2 or 3 weeks, let's say?
2-3 weeks, we need to increase the pressure entering nutritious food and entering huge machinery and entering tents.
Okay.
This is the
You
main.
said that already, yeah.
Yeah. This is the three
This is for
main.
everybody.
Yeah. This is after that we can talk about the next step. But when we still waiting implementation of the three main issues without real implementations, we will lose our time, and still talking about others issues without solving the main.
Okay. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Understood. But like what Dr. Nidal says, in this, you know, he was talking about fundraising to support the orphans, you know. So that will take a week or two for, you know, that to work out the scheme where we can pay into, you see. The thing about entering food and all that is very
طب
different
يبقى
pressure.
اطلبنا وضيفني انا ومحمد اظبط.
Sorry. So we still have to pressurize the food and okay.
Yeah, this was unintended interruption.
What?
Good. So it's very clear that we have to keep doing this. The support on the ground has to be flexible, has to be adaptable to what's happening. Things will change very quickly, and we should be at least knowledgeable and ready to help. Gaza especially is very volatile, and it keeps moving very quickly. Congo is, also the resources are extremely limited, and we're lucky if we're able to do something there. And you are probably hearing about Sudan and how Sudan are not letting us with anyone. So these genocides are very, very dangerous. And we need everybody to help
We can't hear you that well, Karama. We're not hearing you well.
Your connection is going.
Yeah.
No,
Can you
we
hear
still
me
can't
now?
hear you, I think. Now we can. Now we can.
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, good.
Okay. Did you hear anything of what I said?
A little bit.
No?
We are trying to imagine. Maybe you can repeat a bit.
Quickly, I just said that we have to be very flexible and we have to be ready for Gaza, because the situation in Gaza is extremely volatile, and so unpredictable. We really thought that the food and the trucks will get in, and look at them, what they're doing. The situation in Congo is also very, very difficult. And we continue to hear how difficult it is to get simple aid in. And Sudan is getting worse because food is not being allowed at all.
Yes.
So Al-Fashir is on the verge of complete famine. So whenever we're able to help, we should try to help as much as possible.
Okay.
So whenever we have an end, we take it and we run with it.
Okay.
Because it's literally means the difference between a starving child and a well-fed child, or death from chronic diseases or starvation or not. So as an anti-genocide organization, we have to be very, very fast, very flexible, and ready to help whenever we can. I think we are eager to hear from Dania and Arusa. Is Arusa here? No?
We had her on in the beginning, but she signed off. But I'm gonna tell you all a little bit about DAG was privileged enough to share a space on Thursday with Dr. T. Mofakeng. She presented her final report on which we'll drop in the chat. She's a special rapporteur on the right to health, and her report was called "The Right of Everyone to the Enjoyment of the Highest Attainable Standard of Physical and Mental Health." And during this panel discussion, we discussed the mental health of the healthcare workers in Gaza who had to work nonstop for 2 years while experiencing loss themselves, while experiencing starvation, while experiencing their own hardships. We also discussed the right of health as a form of dignity for people that undergo genocide. She also is wrapping up her 6-year mandate. So she will be replaced by somebody, but it was really important to be in this space to honor her because she's been such a fearless fighter for Palestinian rights. And we were honored to share this space with her and discuss it. We'll drop the report in the chat for everybody to take a look at. And like I said, it's important for us as an organization to kind of be in all these spaces. What we found most important, what we found, both important and heartwarming was just this void that seems to, there's such a lack of representation. Everybody approached us and thanked us for our work as an organization. And I think, like Garama said, it's not about waiting to look at like autopsies and seeing like, okay, what could we do and what could we have done, but more so kind of intervening and just handing agency back to the people that are undergoing genocides. And this is what a lot of our initiatives aim to do, is to provide aid, provide food, provide water, provide shelter, and just hand that agency back to the people that have had it taken away by these systems. So like I said, it was such a privilege to be in that space. She was supposed to be on today, but she's in the midst of travel herself. And let's just hope that whoever she has significant shoes to fill, and hopefully whoever takes on that role continues the fight. She's been fighting at this for a long time. She discussed being very young and hearing discussions about Nelson Mandela. She's South African herself, so kind of all of this coinciding in the same week was very special. Yeah.
You're going to post the link?
Yes, I'm going to do that right now.
Okay. All right, right now, so I can copy it. Okay, please. Yeah.
To your point, Dania, with the gap, people do not expect medical doctors and medical professionals to actually be talking and advocating against genocide. Whenever we travel, we actually wear our white coats.
Okay.
And it's a very interesting experience. Everyone comes to talk to us. Everyone.
Fantastic.
What are you doing? Where are you where are you working? Why are you doing this? And it's a good way to raise awareness and actually put pressure on our colleagues to actually feel inspired to do more. Because just like I said before, genocide, war crimes, crimes against humanity really contribute to a massive mortality and morbidity in the world. And it's a shame that we, the medical community, are not standing at the front of the fight to end this and create a better place for us humans, for our children. What is happening also is that with this age, our weapons are more lethal.
Yeah.
And the international humanitarian law that has been applied for maybe some decades is falling apart right in front of us. No one is using it. So the fight for our generation is even more important than ever before because of the nature of the world we live in. So it's really an appeal and a call for all of us who have a voice, who have any kind of influence. We have to work together to make this world a safer place for our children, whether in the US, UK, Gaza, Congo, Sudan, Rohingya, everywhere where children are suffering. They are the future, and we cannot leave this screwed up world for them.
And speaking of future, we had some medical students at this event, and they were especially grateful for our presence there, and for all the doctors on the call, for all the providers in spaces of leadership, and in spaces of mentorship. This younger generation is craving that, and they're very disappointed in who's leading them. And I think everybody has to find their way to step up and be examples for them, because they're severely disappointed in the leadership at their institutions, at the hospitals they work for, and especially here in New York, at the universities they attend. So they were incredibly grateful to this organization, and just the call out for everybody in spaces of leadership and mentorship. They need you to do more.
Is there anybody else on the panel who wanted to speak today? I'm not like no, I don't like to call up, but is there anybody who might, if there was anybody else who wanted to say anything today, if you want to raise your hand or wanted to share any thoughts on all the amazing, things that were discussed today? Claude.
Hey guys, I am traveling, so I made a quick stop so I can participate. So I just want to first just express my gratitude to the work that, I can't say this enough, but seeing doctors and medical professionals and any other professionals that are advocating instead of playing the neutrality game or the both-siding game. I think it's amazing and important, and just wanted to continue to encourage you guys to do that. And I love the method of wearing the white coat to raise awareness. I may have to wear 3 of them whenever I go places. I also wanted to share a little bit of an update on some of our work on the genocide in Congo. Very similar to what is happening in Palestine and in Gaza in particular, where ceasefires are violated, peace deals are not real, and there's all of this publicity around things settling, but people continue to suffer. In the Congo, in occupied areas where Rwandan and Ugandan troops using their M23 militia, or they are part, it's part and parcel. They continue to systematically abduct and disappear people. Serious violations, including sexual violence, continues, and there is actually renewed violence in Congo. This week, I participated in the annual African Bar Association conference, which was in Ghana with Kambale. You guys have met him here. Kambale Msavuli, he actually spoke here. And our appeal was to continue to push for accountability, to follow the recommendations of the UN mapping exercise report, which came out a whole 15 years ago, but the recommendations are still relevant when it comes to the genocide in the Congo, because it's been going on for 30 years now. And as a result of that, there is some resolution and some movement to potentially set up something along the lines of accountability. So excuse me. We are looking forward to that. There's a resolution that came out of it on this. And so we met some, just like Karame was speaking about the conference that she was a part of in South Africa, we met some really good connections and people connected with what is happening in this genocide and the need for justice and accountability. And then for our organization in particular, we continue to get our project off the ground. We're a couple of weeks away from getting a legal team active and doing discovery work. And so, as I've said in previous times, would appreciate your generosity in contributing to the effort. And I get to actually see Karame and Marta in about 3 weeks, I think, in Boston. We have an event there, and I believe there are other people who were at the conference who are in Boston who may potentially organize and join us, or we could meet with them also. So all that to say, maybe when we meet, we'll discuss whether we could potentially set up a fundraising campaign on the Justice Project for Congo, or if we just continue to do it. Right now, we just continue to do it through our website, aglan.org, aglan.org/donate, and the particular donation for or support for the Justice Project is under 6 million dead, no more. So that's where we are. And again, just really, really love the work that everyone here is doing, and not stopping, because every time there is this type of signing of peace deals or ceasefires and things like that, it takes this thing out of the advocacy. And don't stop, because this is the real time to actually get the work done. So in solidarity, from Congo to Palestine to Sudan to Haiti to all over the world where genocides and atrocities are taking place, just we are standing in solidarity with every one of these people, especially the people who are directly affected. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much, Claude. I just want to answer a question about Al-Shifa Hospital in Gaza. So the project is back on, and we are waiting for updated plans from the doctors in Gaza. And we will share as soon as possible. And for people who want to participate in more actions with Doctors Against Genocide, please email us at info@Doctors Against Genocide and let us know how you want to be involved, and we can add you to our teams. We mostly work with people that we know in person through going to the Hill or through local actions, but we are always looking to make bigger and more meaningful connections. So please email us.
Did anyone have any reflections after today's webinar that they'd like to share and contribute to? I don't know if Dr. Nadal is on the call. I know he likes to call on people, but we're going to leave it open for whoever would like to just share any reflections from what we've heard today.
Yeah, Faisal is here. Yes.
Hi, Faisal. It's Fadal.
We need to protect you outside the medical team.
Sorry about the noise. I'm in a very noisy place. And just want to let anybody knows who is in the Washington, D.C. area that we're having an exhibit for a Palestinian artist from Gaza, Muhammad Al-Hajj, at between 4 and 7 p.m. today. If you're in the D.C., Maryland, Virginia area, please come to Bus Boys and Poets on 14th and V. And we'll be there from 4 to 7. We will connect live with Muhammad Al-Hajj from Gaza, the artist, and have a discussion about his work that we are showing. Hope to see some of you. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Diane, if we have a second, I'll say something
Oh,
really.
hi. Yes.
Hi. Let me see if I can turn the camera on real quick. I'm so sorry. I've been sort of in and out of the conference, but I did want to just quickly make one comment in response to something that I heard from one of the other panelists. I think it was Mr. Claude. He mentioned something about not hiding behind medical neutrality in reference to the corruption of this term. And I think it's really important. Thank you for that comment. I think it's really, really important that whenever we hear that we address it. Of course, that's exactly what this group, if I, as a friend of the group, may speak to, that's exactly what this group does, is medical neutrality. Because what that term means is it's not this, this corruption of the term, meaning we have to, somehow it has come to mean we keep our mouths shut when we see things that are hurting people. That's completely not what it means. It means that everyone has the right to healthcare. Everyone has the right to have their health protected. And this group speaks so much to the primary prevention of disease, meaning stopping the disease before it happens, the threat to health before it happens, the secondary prevention, meaning that we prevent it from getting out of control, tertiary prevention, meaning minimizing the harm that it does. This group is medical neutrality, and I'm so grateful to be a part of it, and I'm so proud of all the work that you do. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Anad. Anybody else would like to share their reflections for today?
Just want to say thank you for that in there. And yes, I love the work here.
Thank you so much, Claude. And please let us know when you'll be in Boston so we can just advertise that action and hopefully get more people to come out. Something I noticed in the chat, there was a lot of questions about UNRWA, especially being that our Secretary of State Rubio has made a statement in the last 48 hours, I believe, about absolutely not reinstating UNRWA. There is legislation that is being considered. So I feel like we need to continue our efforts with legislation on reinstating UNRWA, legislation on blocking the bombs. Like, that doesn't stop just because we have a fake ceasefire in place. That has to continue. We know that Israel doesn't abide by any ceasefires, historically speaking. So all this advocacy work we've been doing on the Hill needs to continue, needs to be ongoing, and it needs to be a more of an aggressive effort. And speaking of that, we will be on the Hill November 19th. So please do whatever planning you have to do, take off from work, join us. And something else I'd like to say, if nobody has any other comments, is it's really important in this phase of the recovery of the Palestinians to do everything we can to give them their agency back. There's been such a systematic effort to take agency away, and I think however we decide to show up for them in this phase is giving them back their agency. And I think we all need to be mindful of that. And just demanding that the perpetrators be held accountable. Please just be mindful of that, because I think you'll notice a lot of countries, a lot of governments, a lot of people that didn't do anything to stop them from being wounded and having their lives destroyed now will be, quick to jump on the development plans, the aid packages, all the aid that gets sent, and these are people that were complicit. So I just want people to be mindful of that in this phase of where we are at now in this air quote recovery of Gaza. So anybody have anything to contribute? All righty. All right. Well, if nobody has any...
I want to say something.
Oh yes, go ahead, Dr. Sui.
No. I really enjoy this discussion. We are talking together, working what's best, and so on. And yeah, and I think neutrality is very much abused. I think when we talk about medical neutrality, we treat our patients in the same way, independent of race, color, and religion. it doesn't mean, you know, that we just see a genocide, we keep quiet. That's not neutrality. That's complicity. And yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Sweet. It's always so lovely to see your face.
No, I'm so happy to be with you all. Okay.
And we're happy to be with you. If anybody else would like to share before we wrap up, I know the last week we didn't hear from any of our colleagues from Gaza, so it was nice to kind of get updates and see how they've been doing since post ceasefire. So you know, not that the situation is perfect, but it was nice to see.
Last week is because the ceasefire broke down, right?
Yes, that was actually a very deadly day post
44 people
ceasefire.
killed. Yeah.
Yes. It was a very deadly post ceasefire day in typical ceasefire fashion. So yeah, it was a very, you know, I think a lot of us were feeling very demoralized that day and very kind of hopeless about ceasefire trajectory. So it was very nice to be joined by them. And always good to hear from, you know, our colleagues advocating for a free Congo. Mary Beth, did you have anything to, I know a lot of people are traveling today. It's nice that travel plans don't stop people from signing on to our weekly webinar. So Mary Beth, please, if you have anything to say, if you are able to, jump in.
No, I'm not in an area where I can really talk. It's like library quiet in here.
All right, Roxana, did you wanna add anything? All right, well, on that note, thank you so much for spending your Sunday with us, and we'll be back here next week, same time. And yeah, just keep up your efforts, and we'll see you next time.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you. Take care too. Okay. See you next week.
See you next week, everyone.